All right. You're at the dinner table. You're making small talk. You want to bring up your Catholic faith, but you need a good angle. These are 10 little known facts, Catholic trivia that are fascinating. I became Catholic almost 20 years ago, crazily. It's been almost 2 decades, and I'm learning new things every single day about my Catholic faith, and it is quite the trip. I love it. Now, there's all the beautiful stuff about Jesus's love for us. It's the core of our faith, and about the Eucharist and about the sacraments. And then there's all these super quirky, interesting facts about Catholic history that I'm going to throw some of it at you. So these are 10 Catholic trivia facts that you probably didn't know. But if you know any of them, let me know in the comments, because then you are on top of your Catholic history and your Catholic trivia. So number 1, did you know that the shortest papal reign lasted only 13 days? Yes, there was a pope. He was named pope. The Holy Spirit chose him. The cardinals did their vote, and he was only the pope for 13 days. Who was this guy? It was Pope Urban VII in 1590, and he died even before his coronation. So he actually didn't even make it. He did make it, excuse me, but he was going to be crowned as well. It made his papacy the shortest in history, just under 2 weeks. Okay, now I've got to ask this coronation thing. What is going on here? I know that there was a time when the Pope would actually help coronate the monarch, give a coronation to the monarch. So he had the shortest pontificate in history. He died before his coronation. Okay. Were all popes given the crown? Is that like a thing? Do popes get the crown today?
Perfect question.
Do you guys know? Do you know? Who knows? All right, let's keep going. I'm going to guess that you do know the answer to this one. This is probably the easiest one of the trivia. So if you know the answer, comment, I knew the answer. Did you know that there is a patron saint of the internet? You know, it's Carlo Acutis. He was just sainted. He was the tech-savvy Italian teen. He died in 2006. He was the one who played video games. He is called the patron saint of the internet now. And if you go last year in Rome, I was there, and I was there just a week or two before his canonization. And he was the one who built websites that documented Eucharistic miracles, which are quite the trip. We could do Catholic trivia just on Eucharistic miracles. Check out some of our amazing episodes with Father Spitzer, who has his own show at EWTN, and he is amazing, but he's an expert on Eucharistic miracles. So, patron saint of the internet, Carlo Acutis. Did you know that the Vatican has its own ATM? Okay, that doesn't sound that surprising, but it's in Latin. At Vatican City, you can withdraw money from an ATM that offers Latin as one of the language options. It says, inserito scedalum quaso ut faciendam cognoscas rationem. Please insert your card. Latin is not a dead language, guys. It is alive, and it is alive in Vatican City. Here's another one. This one's probably the craziest one of the list, guys. A pope once put another pope on trial, but the one he put on trial was, of course, dead because there's only one pope. So he literally, the bizarre cadaver synod saw Pope Stephen VI exhume the corpse of Pope Formosus, dress it in papal robes, and put it on trial. Wow. Okay. I did not know that. I don't know if any of you guys have heard that before. This was in 897 AD. And this was a bad pope, guys. There have been bad popes. This is why the Holy Spirit is so merciful, and Christ's promise to the church that the gates of hell will not prevail is so powerful that even when there have been terrible lay people, priests, bishops, and yes, popes, the gates of hell have not prevailed against Holy Mother Church, and the Catholic Church has still withstood the test of time. So Pope Stephen VI was motivated by political vengeance. He was a mad dude, and he ordered the exhuming of his predecessor, Pope Formosus, who had already been dead for 9 months. So he kind of went cray-cray. How long was Pope Stephen the Sixth Pope for? Let's see, guys. He was the Pope. He was the Bishop of Rome and the ruler of the Papal States from May 22nd, 896 until his death in August 897. So again, this is where the Holy Spirit is so powerful and protects the church. This guy who was a little crazy, he was doing crazy stuff. He didn't change the teaching of the church, the ex cathedra teaching, because the Holy Spirit protects that. But he ends up dying basically a year after he becomes Pope, probably because he was, and the Holy Spirit was protecting Mother Church. So crazy. That I did not know, and I'm glad I know that now. All right, here's the next one. Switzerland guards the Pope, but not Switzerland itself. The Pontifical Swiss Guard protects the Pope. I think we all knew that. They've been doing it since 1506, and they must be Swiss, Catholic, and unmarried when they join. Okay, crazy. So Switzerland is not guarding the Pope, but you have to be actually of Swiss nationality in order to be part of the Swiss Guard. That I didn't know. It makes sense, but you actually have to be Swiss. You have to be Catholic, and you have to be unmarried. I'm very curious what those guys' lifespan is. Like, do they never get to get married? Are they just a guard for 1 year? Do you guys know this? Can they marry? Let's ask. Let's find out. And also, like, do they get paid? Where do they live? Do they have to wear those outfits all the time? Yes, members of the Pontifical Swiss Guard can marry, okay, but they must meet specific conditions. The new recruits must be unmarried, at least 25 years old, have served for at least 5 years, and commit to an additional 3 years of service in order to get married. They are recruits, must be single when they enter. The living arrangements. The Vatican permits families of married guards to live within the Vatican walls, and they often reside in dedicated apartments. So you can actually be a married Swiss guard and have little Swiss guard children. That's adorable. That's actually very sweet. I wonder if that's if you see like a family around can you imagine growing up in Vatican City, actually, and your dad's a Swiss guard? That's pretty wild, and it would be truly amazing. I wonder if that actually happens. I'm sure it does. This is from an article here about the Swiss guards, and Pope Francis says, this was Pope Francis, I like the fact that the guards get married. I like the fact that they have children, they have a family. This aspect has become a lot more relevant in as much as the number of married guards with children has increased, and the well-being of the families is of fundamental importance for the church and society. How sweet. I have one more question about the Swiss guards. Are they carrying guns or swords? They carry both traditional Renaissance era weapons and modern firearms. While on ceremonial duty in their iconic colorful uniforms, they carry halberds as a type of polearm and swords, but then they also have modern weapons. So they're loaded with submachine guns. It looks like rifles, handguns, and other pepper spray, tasers, and stun guns. They are loaded. Again, this is from The Guardian. So my sources maybe don't have all the accurate information. The Guardian, is a reputable to some degree publication, but EWTN, what does EWTN.com say? They are going to give us the right information on the Swiss guards. Let's see if EWTN has anything to tell us about the Swiss guards. That could be a great reality TV show, guys. Would you watch that? I would watch that. That sounds so interesting. Okay, let's keep going. All right, here's the next one. Did you know that the Catholic Church helped shape the modern calendar? The modern calendar that everybody uses. It's called the Gregorian calendar, and it was introduced by, you guessed it, Pope Gregory VIII in 1582 to correct the drift in earlier systems. So the Gregorian calendar, which is what most of the world is using today, certainly the Western world, is a modern civil calendar used internationally for recording and organizing time. It's instituted by Pope Gregory VIII back in 1582, and it refined an earlier Julian system that better aligns the calendar year with the solar year and preserves spring timing of Easter. So it's all about Easter, guys. I love this. Its adoption established a consistent global standard for timekeeping. Fascinating stuff. I love that. It's all around Easter. You might not realize it, but the calendar that you're on is because of Jesus Christ, his church, and Easter. All right, number 7, Catholic trivia here. Did you know that there are over 10,000 registered or recognized, I should say, saints? Now, there's not an exact official count because there are thousands of, potentially millions or billions of people that could be saints, but we don't know. The church hasn't recognized them through the canonization process, but they are saints. This is why some people will have a private devotion, right, to somebody that's not canonized yet or may never even be canonized as we understand it in this life, but they are still in heaven and can hear and intercede for us. This is also why we should, of course, pray for the souls in purgatory. We don't know who exactly is in purgatory, but we can still pray for people's souls and the repose of their souls. But we know that there are over 10,000 recognized saints, which is crazy because if you ask me right now to just list to you all the saints that I know, I probably could get to 100. I could not get to 10,000. So think about all these saints that we do not know that are interceding for us. It's so amazing. So if there is something you're challenged with in your life right now, some struggle you have, you can ask the Holy Spirit, hey, Give me an inspiration of a saint I can ask prayers from. Maybe this saint wants to develop a relationship with you to encourage you, and see what the Lord does, because you might be surprised by who you will meet that is a saint praying for you in heaven. All right, number 8. This is a little interesting one. It says bells were once baptized, not actually baptized because only humans can be baptized, but in medieval Europe, church bells were ceremonially blessed in rites resembling baptism, complete with holy water and names. How cute. Okay, I mean, that's cute. All right. That was probably the least interesting of the list so far, but it's still cute. Let's keep going. Number 9. All right, this one's funny because it's like, well, you'll see when I say it. This is ChatGPT, by the way, guys. I don't know if I already told you that, but full disclosure, this is Chat's list. Number 9, a saint reportedly levitated during prayer. Saint Joseph of Cupertino was said to levitate so often during ecstatic prayer that he was banned from public appearances. He was just shocking people so much because he was just levitating. I know there are reports of other saints who have levitated, so it's not just Saint Joseph of Cupertino, but apparently it happened so much with this holy man that he was banned from even being out in public, which is crazy. I mean, imagine that in the current context. Imagine if like Scott Hahn, who I love so much, I hope he doesn't mind me saying that if he ever comes across this, or somebody in his family, but I have such admiration for Scott and Kimberly and their beautiful family. And imagine if you heard that over at Steubenville, Professor Dr. Scott Hahn was just, or Kimberly Hahn was just like levitating. And then like the bishop or somebody, the local authorities banned them from being in public because they were causing so much confusion and chaos. I mean, something like that happened, except it was with Saint Joseph of Cupertino, which is so wild. Back in the 1600s, he was an Italian conventual Franciscan friar who was renowned for his extraordinary mystical experiences. And he also, again, there were reports of him levitating, and he was just totally beloved, so beloved. But also early on in his life, he had all these struggles with learning and with discipline. So he had his own journey of learning how to even be a priest ultimately and be in close in his prayer life with God. But it's just amazing. This is just one saint out of the 10,000. All right, last trivia point. Do you know what the smallest country in the world is? We're talking about Catholic trivia, so you probably guessed it. It's Vatican City. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. Do you know how big Vatican City is? How many, let's say, square miles it is? So how long does it take to walk from one side to the other? 0.2 miles. That's crazy. How long does it take to walk 0.2 miles? It takes like, what, 7 minutes? 5 minutes? If you're running like 2 minutes or something or less? No, that's a slow run. That's a 10-minute run. Don't trust me to do math on the spot, guys, but 0.2 square miles is tiny. But Vatican City has its own postal system. It has the Latin ATM machine. It has radio station. It even has a soccer team. I did not know that. Does Vatican City have a soccer team? Harris is saying no. Does Vatican City? Okay, we're going to ask truthfully, good old truthfully, my friends, about Vatican City having a soccer team. Does Vatican City have a soccer team? Let's see. Checking what's true. It does. The Vatican City national football team. The Vatican City Football Association runs a men's national team, which played its first official match in 1994, and a women's team. Is that made up of nuns? I don't know. Maybe it's the Swiss Guards' wives. The men's team played its very first match in 1985 and won against Austrian journalists. It's not a FIFA member. Intentionally. I prefer to be amateur because it's all about friendship and love, blah, blah, blah. Who plays on the team? I called it Swiss guards, police officers, and administrative staff. And none of them need a Vatican citizenship. They can just be part of the team. And there's something called the Clericus Cup, which is a mini World Cup for priests and seminarians. Okay, this is the cutest thing I've heard all day. The cutest thing I've seen all day is my kids this morning, but this is the cutest thing I've heard all day. The Clericus Cup is founded in 2007. It's contested by 16 teams from Rome seminaries and ecclesiastical colleges formed by players from all over the world. How cute is that? Thank you, Truthfully, for that detailed information. All right, you guys, there's your 10 trivia for the day. I just learned something. Honestly, that was a lot of fun. I'm going to continue to ask ChatGPT and then back it up with Truthly, because Truthly is actually the way to go, guys. That's the Catholic AI that we want to be using. And then obviously there's EWTN.com. You can always check there for stuff, and they have great media pieces that can help us learn more about the saints and everything else. But thanks for joining me for Catholic Trivia, and we'll see you next time.